Hi everyone, I'm Nitin. Every RPA team knows this pain. Your bot crashes, an end user messages a support channel, and a developer has to drop everything. Dig through orchestration logs, find the broken grammar, line, patch it, tries it, all when the user waits with zero visibility. That's hours of developer time for every single failure. We built SpectreAI to fix that. Quickly introducing myself, I'm an agentic architect at Persistent Systems, and SpectreAI is my submission. We already discussed about the problem. Now the solution. The trigger is simple and straightforward. A Slack message. The moment it lands, Maestro picks it up, classifies it, and routes it to the right agent automatically. For bugs, the investigation agent does the diagnosis of the root cause and scores confidence. For enhancement, the Jira ticket is auto-created. And for high confidence bugs, the coding agent patches the XAML line, commits, and raises a draft PR. The end user gets live Slack updates throughout. The developer wakes up the API and not a crisis. Before SpectreAI, a bot failure means 2 to 4 hours of developer time, manual log search, manual diagnosis, manual PR every single time. After SpectreAI, the resolution is within 2 minutes, which is fully automated, confidence code, and every path covered, whether it's a code fix, an escalation, or an enhancement request. The developer will still review the mergers. SpectreAI does everything else. Now move on to the architecture. The entry point, as we discussed, is a Slack shortcut. The user fills a structured form, process number, issue type, transaction ID, description, impact, etc. will be part of the form. Maestro picks it up, immediately sends an acknowledgement back to the Slack, and classifies internally as bug or enhancement. For enhancement, it goes right to Jira ticket creation. All fields be filled from the form. Confirmation is sent back to the user in Slack. For bugs, the investigation agent initially takes over. It runs a 3-layer log fetch for job logs, exception logs, and transaction item logs, which are all merged into a single context that goes into SpectreKB, our knowledge base that learns from every past diagnosis. The reasoning engine then produces a structured output with the root cause, confidence score, affected file, recommended fix. If it's a high confidence scored bug, the coding agent clicks in it, finds the repo by process ID, fetches the XAML via GitHub API. There is no cloning, and the reasoning engine produces a surgical patch. We validate the XML before anything is committed. No broken code ever touches the repo. A labeled draft here is raised with the full context. The developer has everything they need without reading a single log. Both the support and dev channel also gets notified. If no clear error is found or it's a business exception, the diagnosis is fast, posted back to the Slack with 2 buttons, escalate or dismiss. The user decides which action to take. If he decides to escalate, a Jira ticket and an action center task is created with everything pre-filled. If he decides to dismiss, then there is no further action required. Now let me show you the same with part 1. I'm going to what figure by exactly how any end user would do it. So filling in the mandatory details, the filing name, the post transaction number, the issue type, the transaction ID, the issue description, and the impact of the issue. Once I fill in this mandatory details and click submit, we'll see what happens. So clicking in submit now, and as soon as this is done, I'm going back to the process instance. We will see if the Maestro ticket has triggered or not. As you can see, the process instance has been triggered. The first thing that it does is it sends immediate response back to the user acknowledging that the issue has been, the investigation has started. So now the investigation has started. It's analysis. It initially fetches the logs related to the particular transaction from the orchestrator, and it does the analysis on that. Once it finds out that there is an issue, it first creates the bug ticket and also adds the details in the Slack channel. Let me quickly show you the bug ticket that has been created. So you can see the bug ticket with the details of the investigation that are added in the Jira. So now I'm going back to the process instance. As you can see, the coding agent has triggered now. This is where the actual code fix is done. It does it based on the details that the investigation agent sends. Then it determines where the fix needs to be applied, and once it applies the fix, we'll see what happens. So just waiting for the coding agent to complete its execution. It takes a bit time for to do that. So now you can see that it has fixed done the fix. It sends a response back to the support channel, and it also sends a response to the dev channel with the PR details. Now let's see first the PR that was created. You can see that the PR that has created will contain all the details associated with the issue diagnosis, what was the action taken, how the fix was done, etc. And let's see the files that were changed. You can see exactly where the code fix was applied. And let's see. Now let's go to the second part, which is the issue where the bug has been reported, but there is no actual issue. So adding in all the details as we did in the first case. This is now your identified transaction ID, add issue description, and the impact of the issue as well. And once we click in submit, as we saw in the first case, the BPM first sends an initial response. So let's see the process instance was started to begin with. So waiting for it to start. You can see that it has started. Now you will see the initial response saying that the investigation has begun. Now going back, the bug investigator has been triggered. He's doing its initial analysis to determine if it is a bug or not. You can see the different calls that are happening. As soon as it completes, we'll see what is the response that is sent back. So you can see that it states that there are no errors found, and allows the user to escalate still. Once the user clicks on escalate, let's see what happens. It is waiting for the user response. So as soon as it gets a response, it creates an Jira ticket. This is an escalation bug ticket. You can see the bug ticket was created for the same, with the details added in. Now let's go back to the action center and see if there's action task that is supposed to be created. So let's see the unassigned task. You can see waiting for it to load. I can see that there is a task that is unassigned. I will with the details of the bug. I'll assign to myself, and then once I accept it, we'll see what happens. Waiting for it to load. So I'm accepting this. Now let's go back to the process instance, and you can see that there is a response sent back to the user saying that this issue has been escalated. The developer team will contact. So now let's go back to the third part, which is an enhancement part. So adding in the details related to the enhancement, starting the team details, the process number or name. The issue type this time will be enhancement. We don't have to add a specific transaction ID for this. The issue description will now contain the enhancement details, hoping in the previously showed enhancement details. So I'm adding the same and the impact of the enhancement as well. So as soon as I do this and submit, again I'm going back to the process instance to see if the BPM has been triggered or not. So you can see that it has been triggered. This happens very quickly since there are no agents involved for this. So you can see that an enhancement ticket has been created and the response has been set back. So looking at the response, you can see that the enhancement ticket has been created. You can see that the PR developer will reach out to get more details. Let's see the Jira ticket quickly. So you can see the Jira ticket with all the details. This will be a office ticket will be offshore type. So this concludes the demo. Thank you. What's next? You're already thinking about how much for high confidence fixes after CI passes, SpectreKB learning from every diagnosis, expanding to any UiPath processes in the org, not monitoring before failures shift to the queue, and smart routing for borderline confidence source. 3 path, 1 Slack message, fully automated. SpectreAI because your bot should fix themselves. Thank you.